Hey.
Yeah. As my credit can vouch, a dog. On my own, on my time, all I'm
Well, I could try my best to help, but I don't know you. And there's only so much difference it could make. I could try my best to save you, but I'm way down. If I push it any farther, I might sink. See all the breakdown, see you come apart, really brings my world down, really breaks my heart. See you every day survive. The only thing left was the dopamine high. You started to wonder if your life was a lie, but who really cares when everything is on fire? So hello, hello, won't you go away now? Go away. Hello, hello, won't you go away now? Go. Summer in deep from the earth, far from the sky. We are no other, out in the dark, a lone speck of light. All our creation, if we're the only thing that matters, then all we'll leave behind, this little dot you'd barely find. Grain of sand upon the beach. You are the dream that lasts forever. Are you the best that you can be? Time that really matters. Don't fuck it up for you and me.
It's not delivery. Hi. Thanks for listening to the album. It's real weird to finally hear it all together for like for an audience. And all I could hear was click, pop, click, vocals not loud enough. It's fine. Every little thing I heard was so incredibly like not even there that I know I drive myself crazy looking for these things. But I'm glad you were here to listen to it. I'm gonna have the guys hop on the call and we can talk a little bit about it. I don't know. My favorite on the album was No Diggity.
A classic for sure. Instant classic.
I like the way you worked it, No Diggity. Gotta
No,
bag it up.
What a banger.
Yeah.
Really outdid yourself on that one.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
So I'm here with Mike. Hi, Mike.
Hello.
I'm here with
Good to see you,
Joe
Trap.
Hey, what's up?
and Bill.
You're bad at this.
I couldn't hear you, Bill. I'll make you a
He's-
little louder.
He's new to Discord and I think the internet in general. Is that right, Bill? Still trying to figure out this newfangled internet business.
It's for the best.
yeah. Oh, God bless you, Bill.
So yeah, I mean, like before we take a couple questions, thank you seriously for listening to the premiere. This is the future of music in our current year because, you know, we can't actually get together at a show. So the best thing we can do is just listen to the songs and watch people type Pog. So that's what we do now.
Sour police. Sour police.
You got to imagine how confused Joe and Bill are. We had to explain it to them, but
What does sour please mean? Get my Metamucil.
so I'll explain real quick a little bit of history. So another light happened and we went back to the studio and I was still writing a lot and I was like really enjoying fucking around with synthesizers. And some of you know the story, but essentially we had a lot of songs. And I noticed that if we put all the songs on an album, it would be too big of an album and the styles would be kind of all over the place. I mean, Realign's already pretty fucking diverse. There's a lot of different shit on it. So I wanted to do Kerosene as a personal thing. I wanted to make a quicker album and I figured acoustic would be easy. It wasn't, but it was easier. It was quicker and I enjoyed, you know, getting those songs together and just playing a lot of acoustic guitar. And then the idea was, well, I have a lot of songs I made at home, a lot of stuff that I want to sound a little bit groovier, a little bit more like synthesizer, MGMT, Tame Impala, but kind of just my own twist on that. And then that became Realign, and then a couple more songs fit that. And now we have a whole bunch of like hard rock heavy songs. So I don't know what we're gonna do with those. Maybe make another album. That's my guess. So
Could be cool.
so that's kind of what happened after Another Light.
What do the kids say? Fuck around and find out. Are we allowed to say the F word on this channel?
Yes, and I said it once in one song on the album. So
Oh, you actually did. Yeah, you dropped an F bomb. Oh,
yeah,
that was crazy.
right
man.
at the very end there.
Wow, I never heard you use that word before. That was nuts.
I know. I usually just say fudge.
Fudge. Bill, you with us, bud? Bill, he's working on it.
So here, let me ask Bill a question so you can Bill, you're like it's not as obvious like sometimes when you're playing because you know, you can tell Joe's playing bass, you can tell I'm singing, you can tell when Mike's playing drums. What
I can.
You can at least. So you pretty much like I played a bunch of synth stuff, I programmed a lot of synth stuff, but like what are some of those things that you did that you remember that you enjoyed doing for this particular record?
Well, you tell difference.
Nope. Can't hear you.
Fascinating stuff.
Nope.
Riveting.
Oh, we got to figure this out.
Okay, now I can
Heard
hear
that.
you. Just
Heard
speak
that.
like that, yeah.
You did something right.
Hey, hi.
Hey, Bill.
So try
lot of-
again.
Right. So a lot of the classic Fender Road or the Mellotron, the or that's pretty much what I was attributing to this.
You're cutting out too much, Bill.
This
So here's what you could do. You could go into settings, raise your volume, and maybe it's just your microphone not be picking you up.
So close, Chad. So close.
Yeah.
how about
We were
now?
so close.
Yeah, try that. So try one more time.
How about now?
Yes, very good.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so any of the like classic synths, like the Fender Rhodes, the Mellotrons, like stuff like that, was the stuff that I contributed.
So you did the Mellotron on Pale Blue Dot. You did a lot of like the riff on "Be Someone Forever" was more or less yours.
Oh yeah, that was a fun that we always jam to. There was like this one patch on one of my keyboards that we were jamming to for a while, like right after we did Branded, and it was a lot of fun to work on.
I remember the day we were in the studio when you first busted that out. We were just kind of noodling and shit, and we might have been like stopping to have a conversation, and all of a sudden Bill just starts playing that doot 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 doot. It was a little bit. We changed the riff a little bit at one point, but that I remember as soon as I heard that doot 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 doot, I just like my body just started drumming to it. I was like, whatever that is, oh my god, fuck yes.
Oh yeah, and then
And
when
then-
Joe dropped out that bass line, that was the end of it.
Oh yeah, I was like, okay, this is a song. This is fucking awesome. Yes, that gave me
that
chill
one got really
from the
groovy.
first time. From the first time you played that riff, Bill, I was like, yes, oh my god, chills. Yeah, love that fucking song. I think that might be my favorite on this album. That just came from Bill, like just noodling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm
Joe.
happy to-
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm happy to say that I think I'm finally online. So let's do this.
We got
Here I
you.
thought Boomer Hour was over.
Sorry, I just got here.
We'll get you more questions in a bit, but it's also the song. Which song was it? "Reeling from the Rafters" kind of started from Joe's bass line. So that was another jam after Stranded, and Joe kind of played that bass line, and then I started like doing the thing with the synth 9 pedal that sounds a little circusy. So I could ask Joe the worst question anyone could ever ask a musician. So Joe, where do you get your ideas?
Do I have to? Does this have to be a PG answer or?
Oh,
Depends.
Probably from psychedelics, but I don't know. No, it's just I don't know. I just like jamming and playing, and whatever comes out sounds cool. I go with.
Well, that was like "Reeling from the Rafters" is one of my favorites, just because like everyone like played really well on it, but that bass line in particular. Like, you're not a bassist. Like, you didn't start playing as a bassist. So, like, now that you're playing bass for the band, you're okay with it, right?
I get to throw in the occasional guitar riff or solo here and there. That's cool.
you always make it so tasty, man. Can we all comment on how tasty Joe's licks are, guys? Can we
he
comment
hates
on
those
how
words.
tasty,
See, guys,
how
you see
tasty
what
and delicious and just
see what-
yummy and
Guys-
scrumptious they are?
terms for music. I don't know why. It's just something about it that really bugs me.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
use food terms for music anymore. So,
Yeah.
so
Term for music
He doesn't
rule
like
in Red Room Studio.
Joe played like, so people were in my chat wondering about like guitar solo stuff, and I'll just tell you the guitar solo on at the end of Return the Call and Anesthesia, those are Joe's, and Joe also did Ozymandias. And what else did you do, Joe? Do we have? I don't have recollection.
Little riffs here and there that
Yeah, like the rhythm guitar at the end of Reeling from the Rafters is Joe. So, you know, he does basically, he plays everything, and then he plays when he's better at the thing and he has a good idea, he plays it, and it really is just good stuff. And so, Mike, the elephant in the room is that you didn't play drums on every song. You were on, I think we got like 65-70% of the album. We cut up your drums. I mean, there aren't drums on a couple songs, but we cut them up.
You mutilated them.
We did.
Monsters.
So I know that was a little bit weird in the beginning, but I think the ones that you do play on all sounded amazing. But did you end up adapting? Like, were you like at the
This
end
was
hearing the album, you were like pretty okay with it, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, I mean, it was a challenge at first because it was like this was a style of music that we hadn't really done before, and a lot of the things were, Vinny was coming in and being like, "Listen to this, this track," and it's like this, yeah, like I guess techno pop kind of synth pop kind of a thing, and it's like we just want you to do like boom, pap, boom, pap, and then we're gonna put a bunch of reverb on it, like that
Yeah.
song. Uh, Return the Call. Is that the one where you put a shitload of reverb on the snare drum? That would have just been me like going to the studio and just hitting the bass drum once and then just hitting the snare once. It was like kind of like, why would we put a drum track down? But for clarity's sake, and again, it's amazing because this album took so long, I forgot what I actually did, and I had to ask him.
There were times where Mike was like, "Vin, did I play that track?" I'm like, "Actually, you did."
Oh, is that me? I am on tracks 1 to 8 and also 14. So 9 to 13 is all drum machine. And I have to say, Vin, the song Anesthesia, why did you have to program that drum machine to sound so awesome? Like, I'm like worried about it now. Like, I'm worried like that drum machine is going to take my job because you made that drum machine that you programmed is so fucking cool. Like, I don't think I could play that. I'm like afraid of it now.
So, okay. All right. Let me, I was hoping to avoid this one, but I'll do it. So here's the issue. So when I was writing that song, I wanted Nick Mason to play drums, but he didn't call me back. So what I ended up doing was, I use Addictive Drums, and the idea was I wanted to just make, because I have a lot of drum ideas, but the problem is I'm not a drummer. So like a couple ideas I ended up hitting on the thing, and then we would throw them in here and there, but I'm not a drummer. So if I'm at home and I'm playing a song and I want to make it like generally feel what I hear in my head and like kind of go in that vibe, I use Addictive Drums. Now sometimes, that changes. But for some of these songs, they were so fake sounding, I wanted to keep it that way, like a kind of like a Kraftwerk vibe.
Right. It's the genre. Yeah.
But that one in particular, there was a lot of stuff going on, and it became an issue of like, this sounds so fucking good. It would be Mike literally playing the same notes, note for note.
I don't remember if you had showed me that specific drum machine at a certain point in time, but if you had showed me that what you programmed, I would have wanted to play it note for note because it's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have. I would honestly. It's better you used it, especially for that one.
Yeah, in that case too, like there was a couple moments where it was like, well, we could spend a long time getting it exactly the same, but the thing is, like, this album was done in such a fucking ass backwards way. Like, we did the guitars and the synths first. Usually we do the drums first, or drums and bass. That's only because we ended up doing a really weirdly synthy album. But some of these songs we never played together. Like, a good half of this album, we never played together at all. So it was all like studio invention.
Yeah.
The other stuff that we have for the next album, a good chunk of it comes from studio jams. So, I don't mean to be Roger Waters here, but if I need to, I'll write an album called The Final Cut. I don't know. I'll make it about my dad who was in World War II, which didn't happen.
My dad is dead. The whole album about dad. Yeah,
that could be, and the preceding album too. So I'll make a double and then a single album about World War II dad. So that's a Pink Floyd joke, chat. Don't worry about it.
We're boomers. Before you get off the Pink Floyd topic, I want to say for the record that I don't think Nick Mason would have been able to play what you programmed for Anesthesia.
Probably not. I don't think anyone could. There was a 3-arm drum. I used the term 3-arm drummer a couple times.
Yeah, sometimes he'll show me a pattern that he programmed, and it's like the only way somebody would have been able to play that is if they had more than 4 limbs. And it's like, you might want to like simplify or just kind of at least remove one of the layers or some notes here and there to make it sound a little bit more like a human. But I don't think we didn't do that this time. I mean, that's the only one that's not just very simple.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't get that impression from that one.
Ozymandias is you and the drums. So, but there's a lot of stuff that there was singing that I had to like do a million times. There was guitars that weren't like, single takes that were pieced together. There's a lot of stuff on this album that was intentionally fake to get a certain sound.
I
We
think-
didn't go the Jack White route with this one.
The ones where it's just basically they took samples from me and then kind of like Frankensteined it. I think it was Why Can't This Be Easy? And the reason this is happening.
Yeah, and we used your
Yeah.
samples on other songs too that you had
Oh.
previously recorded. So you hitting the drums are on the album.
So I'm on more of this album than I thought I was.
I believe so, yeah. But it's just
technically okay.
I mean, it's just the type of album we made this time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but regardless, though, I think you did a good job, if that's any comfort. And I think
I'm moderately happy with it. Moderately.
you have stuff like Be Someone Forever, which the idea was to have a big band performance, that and Really From the Rafters. I think when we ended up doing that stuff, it really worked. But we'll let you be the judge of that, chat. You can listen to the album. I think at midnight it'll be on Spotify if all goes well. And I'm going to try to upload the YouTube video probably tonight as well. And also Bandcamp. And then the rest will follow. So, that being said, if you have any questions, just throw a couple at us.
Joe, I got a question. Joe.
Oh, see, we're having a hard time. We're in it.
The boomer is real. All right, Bill, I'll ask you.
Oh boy, hello.
All right, so how many inches? No, the joke is I told them that we were going to be doing this, and I was like, yeah, we might do like a Q&A thing, and they were like, penis size? I was like, please don't ask them about penis size. They're not going to answer you. So I like preempted it by asking you, Bill.
Yeah, we ignore those questions in my chat.
Yeah, I do. Well, to me, that's the elephant in the room. You want to talk about the elephant in the room? There's
Exactly,
an elephant.
elephant.
In there.
Exactly.
If there's an elephant in the room, it's Bill's dick.
Wow.
I don't know
No
how to
other
not
band
be
Q&A
vulgar.
would ever go in this direction ever.
I don't
That's
know
what
how
we're
to
doing
not
right now?
be. What was that?
Okay, so do we do the questions now, or do you have an actual question for Bill?
I got a real one for Joe. Actually, I was gonna ask him what mixing this was like. I'd like to hear him talk about the mixing and the.
He is gone.
He left.
He just got disconnected.
Oh, fucking rad! All right, chat. You got. Oh, he's back.
He came back.
Joe?
Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
Okay, there I am. Sorry, something wrong with my AirPods.
This was so much easier last time.
When we were all in person, I know. Now
What
we
was
get
that?
the
Thanks,
rot.
Rona.
What's the question, Mike?
Oh, I was gonna ask you to talk about the mixing process for this. How was it? Was it arduous? Was it obviously it took some time? Was
Yeah,
it just what was it like?
It was long and arduous, but it was also I don't know. It was really cool. Very informative and a lot of fun. I got to like kind of there was a lot of stuff that Vin brought in that
Needed
was
a lot of
already,
work.
like, well, no, it was already recorded, on FL Studio, and then we just kind of like got to mess around with that, and that was a fun kind of situation for me to work with. It's different than like some of the other tracks where we recorded them in the studio. It was kind of cool to take those other things and kind of like work with them and try to bring it into the whole of the album. So I really enjoyed that process.
You feel like you learned a lot because it was a different process?
I mean, yeah, I feel like I learned a lot from all of the projects. I mean, I get projects from people where they've recorded them at home and then I kind of mix them. But this was cool in this setting because it was, us as a group of musicians and then also Vin and taking those two different scenarios and kind of trying to make, a cohesive, like, sounding album.
Which you absolutely did. I mean, I didn't really get a chance to tell you because we haven't been able to talk in a while. But man, you really killed it on this. You made me sound like a fucking god, especially on Reeling from the Rafters. That sound that you got was nuts for me, man.
Oh,
I remember.
thanks, man.
I remember talking about like you had said you wanted to go for like a Bonham type of a sound. Think like why can't I remember the name of that song? Vin, the one where they recorded Bonham when he was in the
That's
mansion.
that's When the Levee Breaks.
Levee Breaks, yeah. And I remember Joe had done something different to get that sound. Like he mic'd the drums differently to get that specific sound, that huge, like boomy open sound. What'd you do to get that?
I just kind of like moved mics around the studio, and we have I have a piano there that I keep the like the front part of it. It's like a stand-up piano. I keep the front part of it open, and I put like a weight on the sustain pedal of the piano.
Right.
And so then I put the mics behind the piano and then used that for part of like to create a bigger room sound, because the room is not that big at the studio. So
basically what I'm hearing you say is on that I'm basically on that song, I'm playing drums and piano at the same time.
Not really, but
yep,
sure.
That's what I heard.
There is an aspect of the vibrations of you playing, vibrating those strings a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the point. Yeah. That's the real point.
So, yeah, there is a kind of a give and take too with the mixing. Like Joe and I have been working together like closely with the mixing, but it's more Joe. I kind of defer to him, but every now and then I'll annoy him and say, "Hey, can you make this sound green?" Okay, I don't do that, but what I'll do is I'll just kind of, if there's a little kind of thing that I notice in the background where I want a little more of it, or if there's, sometimes I'll be like, Joe, can you make this sound like it's underwater? I try to do stuff like that, take it home, listen to it, and then Joe somehow knows how to do these things. And if he doesn't, then we spend some of the session just trying to find the sounds. And to his credit, I mean, Joe is the secret sauce with a lot of the cool sounds that you hear. Like a lot of the really interesting stuff on Be Someone Forever, like that little break section, that's all Joe's creation. And that stuff is, that wouldn't have been there. I mean, I can be really annoying and perfectionist with stuff, but when it comes to it, Joe's able to figure it all out and put it together. It's kind of scary.
It's impressive.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
So Vin.
Yep.
You wrote all the lyrics on this album.
I did.
Do you want to talk about that creative process at all?
Yeah, I'm a mess. So
That helps.
I like to I had a lot to say. I got sadly the Roger Waters comparisons aren't entirely inaccurate, I guess, because in some ways I kind of feel like, all right, well, I got the concept of the song and I really need to finish it. I gotta make it what I want it to be. There's a lot of internal struggle on this one, but also external, and that's it, really. I mean, I don't like to say specifics, but like Pale Blue Dot is pretty self-evident. It's just one of those songs that I'll tell you what. Here's what I can say: Pale Blue Dot was such a. I didn't want to fuck it up, so I ended up spending a long time, really just going for a lot of walks, over months last summer, and if I got a line a week, that was a lot. And when I got all the lines, and I was really happy with all of them, it like came together. But it wasn't an easy one to write. Ozymandias took me like 15 minutes. I don't know how. I don't know why. I mean, maybe it's because the poem was already like amazing and I just got inspired by that. Pale Blue Dot took forever. I'm really proud of it. Ozymandias took 15 minutes. And because it was so easy, I almost am like, well, fuck. Is it even good? So, yeah, I guess every song was different.
And it's funny you say that about Ozymandias, because those lyrics are probably my favorite on the album. They kick my ass. I love those lyrics, man. You really killed those lyrics, dude.
Again, it's Shelley's poem.
15 minutes. Yeah. So that was the person who wrote Frankenstein.
No, different actually. I thought that too.
Can we just say it? Can we just say it was the person who wrote Frankenstein?
They wrote Frankenstein.
It's easy and we don't get confused.
They wrote Frankenstein and Ozymandias.
Frankenstein, like past tense.
That's him.
Actually, it's Frankenstein's monster. Shut up.
Yeah, seriously. So, her husband wrote. Wait, really? Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
That's the chat. They make shit up, man,
Yeah.
constantly. Don't fucking buy that shit.
Okay.
No, it's Percy Bryce Shelley.
Is that correct, Bill?
Yes.
Percy is a woman's name. Can't be her husband.
No, it's not necessarily a woman's name. What
Percy.
about Percy Sledge?
What about
I'm a
Percy
lovely
Jackson and the Olympians?
We have
dude?
access to Google.
Fuck.
Yeah, they're right. They're correct.
It was during the whole like Lord Byron weekend.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Lord Byron.
So okay,
I
there
vaguely
was-
know who that is. I vaguely know who Lord Byron is. Vaguely
I wanted to do a quick shout out. The art was made by Amoral Crow. Amoral Crow was just so incredibly like easy to work with for this album. The art was all great. Here's one that you didn't see, chat. This one is going to be in the vinyl. I'll tell you more about the vinyl later. But you know, just a lot of really cool pieces. Amoral Crow's in chat. Thank you so much, Crow. Like,
Thank you, Crow.
dude
Oh,
just
yeah, man.
got the work.
Those,
Just got it.
Those images are.
You guys speak. I'll
Insane.
be right back. I have a thing. One second.
Oh shit. What do you guys want to talk about?
Hey Mike, this is all.
I mean, all that artwork.
It's Bill. You cut out. What'd you say?
So there's a light in this picture.
True that.
Oh, it's another light. Is that what you're getting at, Bill? Is that what we're doing?
Oh my god, it's so meta. Oh, it's so meta. Oh my god, meta.
Do you
Did
see
Vin,
what we did there?
did Vin order a pizza or something? Where did he go?
He's dropping a
Anyway.
deuce.
I just
Oh.
explained I got a phone call.
It's a quick D-bomb, my dude.
What were we talking about? Why are people saying another light too? What does that mean?
You know why. You sly devil, you.
Dark Side of the Moon 2, even darker.
The darker side.
The darkest side of the moon.
Oh damn. We didn't know it got darker.
So, okay. A couple questions. I'll read them and we'll figure them out. It's hard. The chat is crazy.
It was a really cool thing to see you guys enjoying the music like that. Thank you for listening, everybody. That was awesome to watch that. Just see
So-
you guys go ape shit.
Favorite songs on the album? We can each of us. My favorite is probably Pale Blue Dot at this point, just because it was the hardest to get right vocally and lyrically.
Are we all answering that?
Yeah.
I think it's got to be Someone Forever for me. I think.
Yeah, it's a good one.
That might change over time. You know, as I continue to occasionally listen to this and you know and all that.
I think mine was Vomit in the Ball Pit.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Uh,
That was on another light too.
I guess probably Be Someone Forever, but I think that's just because it felt like that kind of like sprung up from a more of a band place. So that, I guess there's like
Everyone
a
had.
connection to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna reason this is happening. We had a private chat going on while this was going on. That's when I was like, oh my god, I love this song. Mainly because of the drop, middle of it, like the bridge is just really groovy.
And you played the Rhodes on that one.
Yeah,
He said,
that was-
Chad, he said the reason this is happening, if you couldn't hear him.
Oh geez, is my mic still cutting out?
You're good now.
You just sound sexy. You sound very like low and like sultry.
Yeah.
Yeah, just heard Dave Cahill from Hoffa Robots on here too.
Yeah,
Hey,
so
Dave.
I wanted to mention something about Dave. So we played a show with Dave, and Dave has been a good friend. We don't see each other a whole lot, but Dave came down to the studio sometime last year, and he was listening to some of the early mixes, and we were talking about them. And at one point for Realign, the title track, Dave was like, "Hey, it'd be cool if there was this little groove in between these sections." And he got a paper bag and played it with drumsticks. And we left some of that in.
Yeah.
The
that
first
was
verse,
awesome.
Dave's paper bag is in there.
Dave is a
Dave.
super cool dude.
I hope you're doing well, man. Haven't seen you in a few years. I hope you're doing all right, dude. I remember you.
Yeah. We had I think we had Wawa together.
We did. We had Wawa. We
Yeah.
went down to the Wawa.
Uh-huh.
We got ourselves
One of
some beverages and some rad sandwiches. What happened, Bill?
Oh no! One of the cool things was that reason this is happening in apathetic empathy around the same place that I'm so happy, I'm so sad were, and like I feel like these two are companion pieces as well. But like I've been creeping on the Reddit page a lot lately, and they've been putting those tier list up, and these are like kind of the like answers to those songs. I feel like where
Yeah.
a lot of people put them on lower tiers. It's like no, these are that are that you want.
I
Wait a
like
minute.
the reason this is happening.
Oh, titanium. I'm sorry. I'll try to speak louder.
The reason this is happening and apathetic empathy were put together on purpose. Lyrically, they go together pretty well, and I'll say that apathetic empathy might have been the last song for the album. Obviously, those words don't appear in the song, but I didn't want it to just be another, like, take a lyric from the song, make it the title. So I literally just described what I was singing about and how I felt about the song. And they feel very, like, companion pieces. So it works for me.
I have a quick question for the chat. Has anybody ever noticed their dog being afraid of a guitar? My dog is freaked out by my acoustic guitar. It's like sitting against the wall, and she just won't go anywhere near it.
Wait a minute. You're not. You don't mean like while you're playing it, she gets freaked out. You mean like she actually actively avoids it because
I think she hears like the vibration, like maybe like the air conditioner is vibrating the guitar, and she hears something I'm not hearing.
I saw
She's
one
very freaked
person.
out.
I saw one person say yes. 2 people.
Oh, okay.
3.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Oh yeah, no, I'm looking at that. Yeah. Oh, cool.
How's that pupper doing, by the way? She's doing good.
Oh, she's great.
It's good pupper.
My Peanut is the best.
It's good pupper.
There's a lot of 4th of July stuff that, you know, the loud explosion fireworks. How was Pina during that?
She was surprisingly okay. She's not too freaked out by fireworks. It's just other things, like weird random things. I think she sees ghosts.
Oh, okay. As they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could get a show with her and Zach Baggins. We just, you know, ghost dog adventures.
I don't know who that is.
He's a bro that finds ghosts.
Isn't that the guy with the douchey hair?
Douchey haircut, yeah.
Bro, we're gonna go to this abandoned asylum, bro.
Like that type of shit?
It's that.
Oh, that sounds fucking god awful.
You know who loves the show?
Who?
Mike Stoklaza.
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah. So, we'll take a couple more questions. We can take a bunch more if you want, but
Look, it's a Broltergeist.
what was the biggest challenge for each of you when you first started playing music? Mike, why don't you start? Because you, as a drummer, I watched you kind of, you know, like become a drummer, really. But what's your thoughts on that?
I knew Vin before I even started to attempt to play this instrument. So yeah, he did watch me become a drummer. One of the challenges for me early on, and this is a thing that I always say to people when they ask me for drumming advice, I always bring this up. It was that I spent a fair amount of time, maybe like I would say under a year. Vin, maybe you remember this, like sitting there trying to teach myself how to play the instrument. I shit you not, I went to Barnes and Noble and I bought a book, Drumming for Dummies, because I figured I'm stupid. So I bought the book and I brought it home and I started, you know, doing what he was saying in the book. And I'm sitting there and I think I'm making progress. And then at some point, you know, somebody like heard me play. I guess they were like, "Ooh, yeah, had you considered going for lessons there, John Bonham?" So I found a teacher through. It was somebody that there was like a bar we used to hang out at the time, and the guy was in a cover band, and he was like doing all these classic rock songs, like he kicked ass. And he was like, "Oh," I started talking to him. He said, "I give lessons," and I went over there, and slowly we made the discovery that in that almost year where I was teaching myself how to play the instrument by myself, I had taught myself a whole bunch of bad habits that this guy then had to unlearn me. That doesn't make sense. I had to with his help, I had to unlearn all the bad habits that I had taught myself. Like, just things like holding the sticks, hitting the bass drum like an asshole, sitting like an asshole. I did everything, literally everything like an asshole, according to this guy. And he was right. So I had to spend a lot of time on learning all those bad habits and then relearn them the right way, which is something I still struggle with. So that's to say,
it's hard for everyone.
Take lessons if you can. Don't do that to yourself, because you're going to end up like kind of screwing yourself later on down the line if you continue to take it seriously and you really like it. You're making it harder for yourself. Most people can't afford to take lessons. I understand that. That people usually answer with that. And to that, I say just if you can. I mean, you have a resource in YouTube. There's some really good YouTube videos out there. They got like Drumeo and the other website, the other YouTube channel that does drum lessons and stuff. But as long as you're very, very conscious when you're practicing things, that you're keeping an eye on, your form and your technique, and you stay on top of yourself. If you can provide that kind of discipline for yourself, then maybe you don't need a teacher. But then again, keep in mind, a YouTube video or a book is never going to be able to say, hey, asshole, you're doing that like an asshole. Do it this way instead. You can't beat the value of a good teacher. And that is a lengthier answer to that question than you probably wanted. And it also answered something that you didn't ask, in addition to answering something that you did. And I apologize for that. Fuck you. Joe?
When I first started playing, my next door neighbor was already like in an advanced level, and he could like shred. He could play like thrash metal solos, and I just like wanted to be able to do that. So I spent years and years, and I could never really get that fast. And then I eventually learned how to shred, and by that time, I didn't want to shred anymore. I didn't care about it. So and then it was just after that, it like everything just felt so much better and lighter after going through all of that torment, and then just playing guitar and trying to like enjoy and feel stuff. It was great.
Yeah, but when you shred, Joe, it's really cool.
I can't really shred anymore. I wish I could. Sometimes I wish I could just whip it out.
Well, you don't really. I
probably shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, it's all good. Now they're going to ask about the penis. You don't practice the things that you don't use. You know what I mean? Like, I've practiced like double bass, for example, but I mean, this is not a metal band. I have no reason to use it, so I probably would fail miserably if I tried to do it right now.
I remember that there was a phase we were playing together in probably like 2005 or 6 when Mike was like learning double bass drum, and I remember like even some of the more simple songs, you were like, and it was,
of course.
I mean, that's what you were doing. You were just learning. It wasn't like but then when you realized, okay, maybe I don't need to do double bass, it was cool too. But yeah, I mean, it's like whenever I get a new thing, I have to always use the new thing, whether it be a metal pedal that I don't even play metal, or if it's like a new amp, I'll try the settings. It's really hard not to use your new musical toy, and that can sometimes turn a song into the wrong thing. But it's still fun.
We had a lot of fun. Every time you bought one of those new pedals and brought it to the studio, we had a shitload of fun with it.
Yeah, and sometimes it turns into a new song. Like, the reason this is happening was a direct birth from the Synth 9 pedal. And the Synth 9 pedal carried a lot of songs on this album, but specifically Reeling from the Rafters. So it worked out pretty okay.
These things can provide a lot of inspiration if you use them responsibly. Right?
So how about you, Bill? You've been playing a really goddamn long time. You were always a musician since I knew you.
Oh yeah, but the hardest thing I had to grasp around I was taking lessons.
You're low again.
Roman. Oh God, how about now?
Try now. You're good.
Yeah, good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, sucks. Yeah, I grew up playing music, and I had an older brother who was in a band, and he was the lead singer. So I was like, oh, I guess I got to be a lead singer of a band. So taking the back seat was always hard for me. High school, I had a bunch of bands, and always tried to step in the foreground. And then it wasn't until like about college where I was in a band where they were telling me turn down your keyboard, or like, I was
Oh,
being
yeah.
mixed out and stuff. And then once I started actually working with Joe, there was one time, like one of our first practices. This was with the Seconds. Either Joe or John DeSalvo, he's the lead singer of the Seconds, was like, "Hey, keyboards, we really can't hear you." I was like, "Wow, that's amazing." And then I got back, and the ego started feeding in again. but
it's much
but-
healthier now, though.
But it was a really long journey to now where I'm coming into the studio. Yeah, especially with COVID going on and everything. Like, I was in the studio a lot less this time, but he would show me a bunch of songs, and there'd be a lot of stuff did on Fruity Loops, and I was like, yeah, I'm not putting anything to this song. It's good as it is. Like,
Right.
yeah. So taking that back seat was a really, really hard thing to grasp.
Well, you definitely. I think a lot of the stuff you do on the albums is really like subtle, and that subtlety really like benefits the songs. On this album, well, you were pretty much a powerhouse on Another Light. Like a lot of those songs really like Memento Mori and shit. But for this one, like Pale Blue Dot, Far Away, in particular, those two, I love what you did on those. Be Someone Forever, obviously. Apathetic Empathy. Like, a good chunk of the first half you're on, and then you're on a couple of the others. But there's a lot of subtle things. Like, one of the things I've always loved about the, albums I grew up with was when you put headphones on, a good pair, and you can hear shit that you wouldn't hear on your speakers. I always loved, like, little weird sounds that just kind of swirl around, and you're like, what is that? I never noticed that before. Like a lot of Beatles and Floyd Zeppelin have that shit. Mm-hmm. So Bill is providing a lot of those textures.
Yeah.
And it
He's
works
that
out.
guy.
Yeah. So it kind of works out great. And but also when the song is right, like specifically Rub Your Eyes, that's all Bill. That's him in the forefront. So it's just a matter of finding the right spots for keyboards. But for me, I'll just say that I taught myself guitar at 18. I thought it was too late, but I have a lot of bad habits. I'm not a fast guitar player, and there are some chords I still can't do. But so I have my limitations, but I learn a little each time, and I work around them as much as I can. But my biggest challenge is I can be a perfectionist. I don't particularly think very highly of myself, even if it seems like I do, but I definitely know when I have to, like, okay, I gotta chill the fuck out sometimes, like I gotta step back a little bit. But I also want the songs to be as I'm hearing them, because the more I write, the more I want to get the songs right. So I don't know, it's a challenge, it's weird, but I'm right now just riding the wave, and I'm trying to figure out like what kind of writing I want to do from this point forward, because we did Another Light, we did this, we did an acoustic album. And it's like, well, I want to continue to grow and evolve, but I don't need to be the best guitarist. I don't need to be the best singer. And maybe I don't want to scream as much, but I also, I want people to realize that we have passion for these songs. And so that's hopefully what we'll do next time. You guys have any other questions? Is the sample of Lavos in Ozymandias? Nope. There's a Chrono Trigger sample in, I don't think anyone got it, but it's in the song I Don't Mean to Complain. Vinny, what comes first, melody or lyrics? Always melody. Lyrics kind of just happen after a bunch of random bullshit lyrics, and then I try to figure out what the song is about.
So you put a Chrono Trigger, I didn't even know this. You put a Chrono Trigger sample into which one?
I Don't Mean to Complain.
See, that's wild. I'm gonna briefly take the topic off topic, but it's on topic. The first time you showed me Closer Now, what did I say to you?
It sounded like a video game song.
But which one specifically?
Chrono Trigger.
What track?
I don't remember.
Zeal.
Oh, yeah.
Does anybody not hear Zeal? I immediately heard Zeal, like the
Wait, do you mean, because I Don't Mean to Complain is they want you? Are you talking about the one with the little instrumental in the beginning?
I might be getting the songs confused because I'm stupid. Yeah, that's more than possible. The do.
That's
the arpeggio.
That's the beginning of Closer Now. That became the
It is the
ending of
beginning
Better
of
on the
Closer, yeah.
Outside.
No, so I was right. No, I heard Zeal the first time you showed it to me. I was like, "That's fucking Zeal." You don't remember me telling you? So that sounds like Zeal to me. And you used a Chrono Trigger sample
In
on
another song. Yeah.
Wild. So this is just like a Chrono Trigger album.
This album has a lot of, like, the second half in particular with the FL Studio shit is highly influenced. My favorite music growing up was John Williams, Nirvana, and video games. So if you hear any of that in this album, I can't help it. But
So-
I leaned into it a little bit on this one because I love the Chrono Trigger soundtrack and a lot of the games I grew up with.
Those Fruity Loops, towards the end of the album, the Fruity Loops songs. How many of them don't have guitar on them? Do any of them not have guitar on them?
Yeah, Better on the Outside has no guitar. Closer Now has no guitar.
Right.
So
There you go. It's just all synth.
Yeah, those are all synth. Every other song has guitar.
John Nirvana video game.
That's me.
Yeah,
I'm John Nirvana.
Uh-huh.
John Cobain.
So John Williams, then, did you ever aspire to, like, orchestral arrangements in that regard? You ever think about that? You ever think you could bang that up?
I'm not good enough for that, but I mean, I respect it. I admire it. I get too frustrated when it becomes too complicated. I respect and admire people who can do that. I don't think I would be good at making soundtracks. I like the freedom of just being able to come up with whatever the fuck. And if I had to work within a restriction, I don't know if I'd be as good. So I just kind of like, and I don't know if I'd enjoy it as much. So probably not.
I mean, we all like Star Wars, right, guys?
Oh yeah.
Oh, sure.
Why have we never considered doing a Jizz album?
I knew it.
How is this the first time I've had this idea? Like, how it's so obvious. Jizz.
Max Rebo and the Jizz
would
Whalers.
crush it.
It was the modal, the modal nodes.
Oh, that's suggestive as fuck. Damn.
Yep.
Yeah, some people requested penis music. Vin, how do you feel about doing maybe at least one track of penis music?
I probably have something in my repertoire that hasn't been heard. That is very penisy.
Oh,
Fill me in. Does that mean that everything is played by a penis?
No.
Oh, Joe, you sweet summer child.
I'll tell you next time I see you.
Okay. Because I feel like that would be a great album.
We've already done that, though, haven't we, Joe? To an extent.
That's all a blood
Yeah,
bagel.
but nobody heard that one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, I was sadly informed about penis music over the past several months, but anyway.
Yeah, dark days.
Would you guys ever do a concept album like The Wall or American Idiot? I'd say that there's a loose concept on Another Light, Kerosene, and this one, but very loose. If you're talking about like would I do like a rock opera type deal, I don't want to do something like that. I mean, I'm only, I'm not sure. That's how I feel now. I don't think I'd have the patience to do something like that. But I do tend to, once I figure out the theme of an album, I tend to write around that. I know, Mike, you're into like rock operas. Like you're like a huge Tommy fan, right?
I really enjoy rock operas. Yeah, I love Tommy. I consider The Wall to be a rock opera. I mean, it is, right? I'm not.
It is, yeah.
Okay. And I don't know. I'm like drawing a blank on some other ones that I've enjoyed. I actually did like American Idiot.
Yeah.
When it came out, there was a little bit of a zeitgeist going on there, and I was like, an idiot kid. I probably would not listen to that album at this point in my life, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I dig me some rock operas. You know what I fucking love? Hedwig and the Angry Inch. You ever see that?
We talked about that years ago. I think I watched
Still
it.
never watched Hedwig.
I don't remember.
It is fucking awesome.
Mike,
The
we might have
music
watched
is
it together
insane.
while drinking, like in
That'll do it.
2004.
Yeah, that
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah. There's a good chance there's a great chance
That
we
might have
watched
happened.
it.
Yeah.
Very, very possible. I don't think we would have been underage at the time, chat.
No, we weren't.
But they don't do the math on that. It's not worth it. Okay, I
No,
promise.
no.
Math is boring and for nerds. Don't do it.
No, we were 21. We turned 21, and then we watched it together. Yeah.
That's what happened. Hedwig and the Angry Inch. I'm not really remembering any, but yeah, Tommy is probably. Oh, Quadrophenia is another rock. That's also a rock album from The Who that I love.
That's one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, I love
Fucking
Quadrophenia
great.
so much.
Quadrophenia kicked ass, and it's funny because lyrically, I mean, we don't identify with that at all. You know,
Not
it's about
really.
this whole culture
Mods.
war between like I don't know what British youths in the streets of London in like the 60s or something.
Mhm.
What do we know about that? Nothing. But it's just a kick-ass album. It doesn't even matter.
There's a lot of universal themes on that.
It's a great
yeah.
It's almost like the Catcher in the Rye of like concept albums, you know? It has like that kind of like, you know, growing into adulthood angst and, you know, all your idols suck and that kind of thing.
So
which
it's like
is,
Squidward
you know,
from
speaks to you at
SpongeBob.
that point.
Yeah, it does have that, Joe. True.
So, but Bill, you and I, we've listened to a lot. I remember we would drive up to the Poconos listening to Mars Volta. So, I know you're into some concept albums. Boy, that fell flat.
Bill fell asleep.
He's sleeping.
He might be. I mean, he works early. Bill, if you're still here,
He's not asleep. He might have just stepped away.
all right. Well, if he comes back or whatever, we'll get him. But any other questions, chat?
I think I see one.
Live shows in the distant future. Distant, maybe.
Obviously, the virus complicates things. Obviously.
Aside from Mike not playing as much, did anything in particular prompt the switch from rhythm lead songs to AL to more melody heavy stuff in Realign? Just not wanting to repeat myself, and also just the way I was writing was more on keyboards this time around.
And yeah, a lot of it was you writing stuff at home, as opposed to, I think the prior albums was a lot of us like kind of sitting there coming up with stuff together, like versus you showing up to the studio and being like, check this out, right?
Yeah, and like the ones for the record, like Realign, Really From the Rafters, Reason This Is Happening, Be Someone Forever, and Pale Blue Dot were mostly studio songs. And then the rest were varying degrees of that. Like Far Away we worked on together, but yeah, a lot of the studio songs were definitely there. Just again, I was writing a lot. A lot of these songs came from dreams again. I know it seems like a meme at this point, but Why Can't This Be Easy came from a dream. Ozymandias is not that one. Far Away came from a thing. Some of you already know. Don't worry about it. Anesthesia, I think, came from a dream. Better on the Outside. Like, there's a couple here that came from dreams, and also one of the bonus songs, too. One of the two bonus songs for the vinyl.
There's a question for you, Joe. It said, what was the go-to compressor for this album?
There wasn't. I just, I don't know. I used a bunch of different compressors. I liked, but towards the end, as we were doing like mastering and just kind of finalizing thing, I ended up using the SPL Iron a lot. But the plug-in, I can't afford that thing. But that one's really just like a really great, smooth sounding compressor. Kind of makes things warm and big, but doesn't really squash too much. And I love squashing things, and I love distorting drums, which I know some people don't like, but I'm a really big fan of. But this does it like it kind of adds a little bit of nice distortion to the overall track. So I guess I probably use that a lot.
It makes it like creamy and chunky, and so good with grape jelly.
Oh my!
So delicious. Scrumdiddlyumptious.
Bill, are you back? There's there's like a disconnected icon. I think the connection's going in and out.
Pour out a 40 for Joe. Bill? No, it was Bill.
So, what other things? Oh, well, let me tell you about the vinyl real quick. So the vinyl, obviously COVID delayed a lot of vinyl stuff. The goal was originally to have this album come out around now, but to have it launch alongside a vinyl that you could buy and it would be shipped to you. But that changed. We couldn't really get to the studio. what I will tell you is the vinyl looks cool. There's some art that you haven't seen. There will be a lyric sheet and a postcard, but also the two bonus tracks will be on side 4 of disc 2. So one of the songs sounds very similar to this album, and the other one is a more acoustic one that I came up with during quarantine. So just some B-sides you might enjoy. They didn't fit the vibe of the album, I don't think. I think one's pretty close, but I'm really happy with the way they turned out. And those will be online maybe a month after the vinyl comes out. So eventually you'll hear them.
That's right. And just to sweeten the deal, Vin will rub his butt on every one of them. Isn't that right, Vin?
That's right, Mike.
Wow,
That's
then
right.
I should.
Like a dog in heat. Just
Then I should.
one,
I
one
should.
at a time. Go ahead.
I should really consider selling the seat at the studio that Vin sits in all the time.
Oh, dude, you'll be able to afford that compressor you said you couldn't afford. You'll be able to buy 10 of those.
Jesus
Start a
Christ.
bidding war on eBay.
Well, there was
Holy
a crack
shit.
in the leather that looked like meat, and I took a picture of it and showed the stream. So,
Really?
yeah. What else was I gonna say? There was a couple cut songs. Like there were some songs. This happens every time. But I had a couple demos for this album that we didn't end up pursuing. One song I didn't want on the album, but usually if the guys don't like a song, we just don't do it. Like I try to get everyone's like opinion on it, but mostly it usually just comes down to, you know, I can usually tell if the song is a little on the poop side. But in this case, there's a couple pretty interesting ones. One was very like happy Gorillaz song. So I don't know what is ever going to happen with those songs, but maybe one day, like little demo versions of them will be released. But mostly this is the longest track listing we have, but also I don't think the track time is as long as Another Light.
Shorter
So-
songs.
There's a couple songs that are real short on this one, yeah. Release them as singles, they wouldn't work well as singles, and also we'd have to spend a long time working on, you know, getting them right. But I don't think that would happen. Other questions? How much growth do you feel Red Fox has made since What Could Go Wrong? Why don't you guys answer this? Like as a band?
Who's
Yeah.
jumping in here?
You.
I feel like it's been great. I feel like it's been really exponential. Your like songs Vin comes in with have like, you know, steadily grown from.
Careful with the compliments, not too much.
Oh please, I think it's obvious. I think that the songwriting is and the overall everything has just grown since the beginning, and that's the benefit of, you know, just solidly working for. When did we start working together, Vin?
2015.
So, like, for the last 5 years, there really hasn't been a break in making music at all. Maybe like a couple of weeks.
Couple weeks at most. It's
Yeah.
kind of like my streaming career. Like I haven't really taken more than a day off. Mike chastises me for this. He's like,
don't know.
you should take 2 weeks. I'm like, I don't know if I can. But it's the same with music. We have to be in the studio working because it feels nice.
It does feel nice. I miss it so much. This quarantine thing is
Yeah.
just such ass, obviously, for a lot of reasons, not just this one. But as far as the question, I mean, you just listen to the albums. It's like Joe said, it's obvious. You could see that progression. You could see it happening in real time. Just listen to the discography and actually listen to it happen. And yeah, as far as working together goes, learning what we kind of would expect from each other and what we would want from each other and things like that. That's the thing that really only comes with time. I think you could, I take any band and listen to their discography. You're going to hear a progression, right?
Yeah, until they get worse, which happens sometimes. That's why, like, say what you want about. There's a lot of bands that kind of go out on the top of their game that I really respect.
Mm-hmm.
Like Nirvana, didn't have a choice. But their last album, they only put out a couple albums, and In Utero was a fucking great album. Nirvana never had a chance to suck. I mean, I'm biased. Right. I'm biased, but I feel like when you have a like kind of this amazing thing going, like Zeppelin kind of released a little poopy, but then they were like, Bonham died. They were like, all right, it's time to stop. And I think that's fine. And then there are some bands that just keep releasing albums over and over and over and over again. I think it's good to wait. Like, I'm a big fan of what Radiohead and Tool do. What I mean by that is Tool in particular is a different story because it took them like 15 years to make an album. But Radiohead waits until they have something to say, until they, come together with songs that they like. And if they don't force it. They're not releasing a record every year.
Because it's time to. They're not Game Freak.
True. But then there's King Gizzard. Game Freak is the best analogy. Yeah. That's really good. But yeah, the King Gizzard's a really good analogy. They are beasts. King Gizzard can work and work and work and work, and everything they put out is good because they're not making the same album every time. They're able to put together different types of records. Just last year, they put out Fishing for Fishies and Infest the Rat's Nest. One was a fucking thrash album. One was like psychedelic folk synth. And, the year before that, or 2017, I forget which year, they put out like 5 albums, and I don't think they should have put out like 3. But regardless, I think it's good for a band to put out albums when they have something to say. But Bill, you still here?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Hey, Bill.
There you are.
I switched to my phone. This whole thing sucks.
Well, it's good to have you.
We
back.
got to remember, Vin, that we're sitting here with like all this thousands of dollars worth of streaming equipment and like these badass headsets and like all this expensive like streamer tech, and they're sitting there with like cell phones and like lapel mics and shit.
I bought a brand new computer for this.
Lapel mics. I don't know why I probably don't have lapel mics. What'd you say, Bill?
I bought a brand new computer just for tonight.
Why do I feel like you're not exaggerating that?
I'm not.
Well, you'll use it for like other stuff too, right?
I don't know, maybe Angry Birds.
Dude, I hear you can play solitaire on there too.
What? Oh man, I gotta check that out.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Space Cadet Pinball.
Space Ace, right?
So Bill, let me get you a question because I was asking before we were talking about concept albums. We're Mars Volta fans. You and I like Mars Volta. Mike and Joe aren't really into them, but like, what do you think about doing a concept album? Like, what do you have any favorites?
The Last in the Comatorium was great. I mean, both of us, you and I, I guess we bonded in college from Dark Side of the Moon. The Wall was always a great, rock opera. But Mike mentioned before Hedwig and the Angry Inch as well. Just all fantastic albums. But yeah, I'm always a big one for the concept album.
You did
my last solo album. Yeah. That was actually next month will be the 10-year anniversary of it. But
it's called Villain, right?
Yes, I saw on one of the Reddit posts that for Red Vox fans, it's at the very, very, very bottom of the iceberg.
That means that it's the deepest, and it's that's a good one.
But hey, yeah.
Every copy of Red Vox is personalized.
But concept albums, because an album is an art form, it's one cohesive thought, for the most part, and concept album is pretty much the grand, concept.
It's the thing to aspire to. I feel like an artist that can pull off a concept album, that's impressive. That's not an easy fucking gig.
Wait a minute. Wait. I thought Blood Bagel was a concept album.
Blood Bagel is a concept album.
A rock opera. It is a rock opera.
It's only 5 songs of it.
Story. There's a story.
It counts.
It does. We did one, chat. All right, it's done. Chat. Sorry, go ahead, bud.
I got one quick thing. Well, you go, and then I can answer. Were you going to ask them a question, or have them ask a question?
I was going to say, Red Vox writes a rock opera. What is it about? What's the topic?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you know what they're going to say.
and we will pick one of your answers, a good one, a good answer.
Cock opera.
It's about meat. It's about ducks. It's about ass. It's about cock. A lot of cock in that chat.
A lot of
Damn.
cock. A lot of cock.
A lot of cock.
All right.
CBT.
Yeah.
Pineapple on Pete. This was not worth it, Vinny. I'm sorry.
So I'll go ahead and answer the question that I saw earlier, which was the album cover. I already talked about this, but I'll go through it very quickly, and I have some bonus materials, so to speak. The cover was based on Ganbreeder. I was live on stream when I saw what appeared to be, I was like, hey, that looks like a cool album cover. Like, someone even found the video. And I liked it a lot. And we have our own explanations of what this cover means, but it did come from an AI. It was just a bunch of weird images mashed together. I'm assuming jellyfish were involved in this. So here's the original image. And then we got Amoral Crow to up-res it, and he added a bunch of details. So then, there's the reverse of this, and there's the other art, but I really, really like the way this came out, and I think having this album in particular, which is designed to be a little bit more fake, being based off of an AI-created image, I think is just a weird kind of serendipity. That said, there was also, I put that through, so I put the cover through Art Breeder, and here's what I got, chat. I got a couple weird... I got that, which is just like big waves.
Oh.
I got this, which is just a landscape. You can almost see like it's trying its best. And then I got this too. So
That looks like it's made out of bones, like bone mountains. It
does.
It's metal as fuck.
Yeah, that'd actually be a cool cover. So a cover of a cover. And then this was some of the original. These were some of the original pieces of AI-generated scenery that eventually turned into the cover. So, yeah, just another weird thing that happened that we went with. So, also,
Bone Mountain.
One quick thing, I want to thank Jax, who made the videos, including the one I released today. Jax did a great job. Jax, you need a new computer, bud. Your export time is atrocious. as he knows, he's well aware, but I'll tell you what, you did a great job. We weren't obviously this is very low budget. This is just us working with someone who's a fan, and I think you killed it, and I appreciate the work you've done. So, thanks, Jax. And you gave birth to the Red Vox pigeon.
Thanks, Jax. It's very cool.
Very cool.
Very cool.
I got a new computer for him. If it's not doing me any good. So
that's right, Bill.
That's
you
right,
bought
Jay.
You bought like a $3,500 computer, but a $10 microphone.
Pretty much. I could have hooked up the whole home studio and everything, but I was like, you know what? iPhone headset would be just fine.
And I would say it worked out. It did.
Now it did.
Ron Howard voice. It didn't.
Bill is also hiding from the police right now. He's under a bush somewhere outside.
He's
talking very low.
Shh, don't tell anyone. Okay. Good news, everybody. The album is out on Spotify, on YouTube, and now Bandcamp. So I just checked. It should be up. I want to just say, if you can't afford the album because times are tough, feel free to download it in whatever way you can. I don't mind. Vine.bandcamp.com. It's $2 if you do want to download high quality versions of the album. It's there.
Wait, what the hell? I mind. I'm joking.
It's you're good. You don't worry about that, chat. So anyway, there you go.
All right.
Why don't we take one more question? It's just after midnight, so any ideas on a last question?
I haven't talked to you guys in a while. How's your quarantine been?
Like a lot of video games.
Yeah, a lot of video games. Same. Lots of streaming. Lots of hanging out. A lot of Netflix.
Mm-hmm. A lot of YouTube, Red Letter Media.
A lot of YouTube.
Can we expect SoundCloud upload? I will try to remember to do that. What non-music art forms, books, and movies inspire your music? Obviously, one of the songs sounds a lot like Blade Runner, and I used a CS80 synth emulation for that one. So I'm a big fan of that. Otherwise, just, you know, the usual stuff, video games. How many of the album's lyrics are aimed directly at chat? Okay, let me answer this question. You're going to have to figure out what these songs mean on your own, chat, but I will say not every single one of these songs is about me. I said this on my stream the other day. Years ago, I wrote a song called Liana. I had people trying to find out why I was dating someone named Liana, and it was about Lyanna Stark from Game of Thrones. So just,
I remember.
You know, you can figure out what they mean to you. They mean certain things to me. Some of it relates directly to my experiences with what I do and what is around me. But, you know, that's up to you. The lyrics should all be online.
I saw a question in there about it popped up a couple of times about a vocal mic that you use, Vin. And
yeah.
We used like a couple of different mics, and none of them really that crazy, like expensive or anything like that. We used a Rode NT1A, and I think like an Audio Technica, like I think it was like a 3030 or something like that.
The one that I use at home?
No, I think for the album.
Oh, because if I do tracks at home, it's an Audio Technica 3030.
Right. Yeah, but we didn't use
time.
a lot of
No.
vocal tracks at all.
Just to tag up on that too, like earlier on in the chat, I saw about the question about the synths, and Vin did a lot of FL Studio. My two go-tos are a Roland Phantom and a Microkorg XL Plus. The Microkorg is kind of like the staple of like the under $500 mini synths. This was like kind of like a limited edition one that had an amazing Mellotron sound, and I know I keep on going back to that, but the Mellotron really made a difference on this. But then everything else was patches on Joe's end. Joe, what else did you use as far as synth-wise?
I don't really remember. We just kind of like, if we needed a new sound or something like that, we just kept switching around through. I don't even remember what we used half the time. I know like the that Slate Ana, the ANA or whatever, that was used a bunch of times, but that was just for textures. I think a lot of stuff was from like, you know, what Vin did at home, or, you know, like what you were just saying with your stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
variety of
who's
VSTs.
Like, anybody who's like doing recording at home, if you grind enough on freeware, you'll find something good.
You can really, it's kind of insane. Like, you don't really need a lot of money to make music these days. You can mostly just grab a bunch of free VSTs, plug in a guitar, and you can use like a modeling amp cabinet. I mean, even like for drums, you can, if you really needed to, you can just hook up a pad, play on the pad, and then go one drum at a time. Do the toms, do the kick drum. It's really easy to make music, and it's a little easier to make it sound good. But honestly, the way Joe mixes, the way this album sounds, there's not a chance in hell I could get it to sound as good as that, like on my own. So that is where the experience comes in. So you can get a lot of cool sounds. You can record an album at home, but the next level of that is actually having years of experience and knowing what you're doing. So that's all the big shot. Joe
Well,
is
the
Joe.
expensive-
Yeah.
The expensive stuff works. The expensive stuff it helps. It's worth something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the expensive stuff is great, but at the same time, you can really like, you can really nail it with a lot of like the free stuff too. It's really you're right though. There is you start to hear a difference as you go up in price too.
Mm-hmm.
Things get easier. Like as you start stacking tracks, those things end up sitting nicer, and they kind of already sound like what you associate with an album. But you can also get there with free stuff too.
Do you think that that's going to change in the future? Do you think that the free stuff is going to just keep getting better and better as the technology improves? And do you think it's going to be the type of thing where, I don't know, what's that law of computing? I can't remember. Chat knows what I'm talking about.
I know what
Whereas
you mean, but
things get cheaper and things get better and cheaper. Is that you see that happening with this type of equipment? Moore's law.
yeah, sure. I mean, you can even see it with the hardware stuff too. There's a lot of like really good like small companies that make like inspired by or like clones of different kinds of microphones or compressors or things like that. And they may not sound exactly like the real thing, but they end up sounding really, really great and really usable at like a fraction of the price. And they end up having, their own kind of flavor to them that is different. And I think you'll see that in a bunch of years, like even this free stuff, you'll see like in a bunch of years that they have become their own like classic in and of themselves, just from the slight differences off of what they were trying to model.
Right,
That's
which is
really
the
pretty
thing
cool.
that has happened in the past that you could see happen in the past.
Right.
All right, so here's a good question. Vinny and Mike are used to having chats. I want to know how it felt for Bill and Joe to see the 3K people reacting live to their music.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome. That's really great. It's really cool to know that we worked really hard on something for a long period of time, and that there's an audience there to like it and to listen and comment, and that's fantastic.
Oh yeah, I really wish that I thought of plugging into the phone a lot earlier, but yeah, I've been stalking out the Discord and YouTube and Reddit for weeks, like getting really excited for this. Like, I mean, you guys, you do this every day, but like, for Joe and I, like this is tremendous, especially like how long we've been playing in bands together, and this is it's really special. Thank you guys.
Maybe for some
Yeah.
people it's hard to not look at it like it's an ego thing, but when you work as hard on something as we have on some of this stuff, there's nothing that feels like as good as seeing like live real-time feedback and just seeing something that you did, like making people happy or seeing people like really enjoying something or having an emotional reaction to something that you slaved over. That's a really cool thing to see that even for me and Vin, definitely to finally see the fruit of the labor and know that we did a good job, because we could see that literally right in front of us. It feels really good. It feels really good, and I don't think it's an ego thing. at all.
No.
I don't feel
it's
that
an
way about it.
appreciative thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say for me, having this is kind of a privilege to like be able to do this, release music. It's so appreciated, like that people actually want to show up. Like, you don't have to be here. A lot of you watch the streams and then found the music afterwards. So being able to actually be, here, be able to like have an audience, like it is a bit of an indulgence in some ways to say, hey, we're going to stream this live. So, we can answer questions and look at the chat. But the truth is it makes the work. Like, I don't need to make a lot of money from this. I really don't. I'm just happy to see that people enjoy it and get something from it. I have people email me or tell me at conventions that like, hey, this is something that means as much to me as maybe Radiohead meant to you or whatever. That's really, really fucking important to my life. Yeah. And I do appreciate having that ability. So yeah, thank you for allowing us to read your comments and, see your reaction in real time, especially considering we've been stuck inside. We can't do shows. I mean, not like I would have wanted to, because I'm like grade A certified lazy. But it's really great. So, that's awesome. Thank you.
I mean, how many musicians like work really, really hard on their music and like nobody ever hears it? Nobody ever hears it. Nobody ever hears it because they have no outlet for it. So what you guys do for us in just the act of giving us an audience is an unquantifiable thing. It's immeasurable how awesome
Absolutely.
that is and how much that means to us. So thank you guys again.
Yeah, and again, the continued support.
We're lucky.
we're very lucky, and the continued support means, that we're going to make more music. I mean, it's nice to have that extra feedback and to say, oh, people want to hear this. Okay, I'll make more. So I will do that.
Do you want to talk about the future for a minute? Anything?
Yeah, we're breaking up. Goodbye.
All right. See, I was just thinking, like, you were saying earlier, so Nirvana never had a chance to be cool. I'm thinking, like, all we got to do is just not die. That should be easy enough, right? Just not
is it?
die. Like, I can't. No, it's not. I feel like that's a lot of pressure for me right now to not die. Really, like, I just kicked me out at that point. Yeah, you have the drum machine. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. We all heard him. There's no denying this drum machine. He's got chops.
Do you know the band Echo and the Bunnymen? The reason they're called Echo and the Bunnymen is because they didn't have a drummer for the beginning of their career. Mm-hmm. So the fucking drum machine they used on stage, they nicknamed it Echo. And they joked that was the leader of the band, and they were the Bunnymen.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I heard the story.
I love that story. Weirdly enough, so Nirvana had Bleach, Nevermind, In Utero. Those are their 3 studio albums. Incesticide is B-sides. Unplugged is live. That's 3 studio albums. We hit 3 big studio albums. And Kerosene I consider more of like an EP, but it's 10 songs. So it's kind of interesting to think of that. Yeah. Interesting. No, but the truth is the future of the band would be this. What I want to do next is I want to revisit these songs because Mike and I were talking about this, Joe and I were talking about this. We have a couple, like some of my favorite songs from the past 2 years that we've written together or that I've written at home are heavier on the guitar. And some of my favorites, even over some of the songs on this album, but we didn't want to put them on there just to say, hey, listen to this. So I think eventually we're going to revisit those songs, and then who knows what new ones will occur. But, who knows when we're all going to be back in the studio jamming. That's going to be tough at this time in our lives. So that's... that's the goal eventually, is to record these songs because we love them.
Vinny and Blood Bagel Part 2, Volcano or Fist Factory, one of the two.
Yeah, they do. I can pass that off to some other artist. Maybe we can just give that to someone.
Guys, I don't think it's coming.
Please take it. Take it.
So
we can't top Blood Bagel. I think everybody knows that. I think it's unrealistic to expect that we could. So just
listen. That's our best album, and love is an ugly 5-letter word. 5 letters.
Yeah.
Before we go, do we have any closing statements? Bill, do you want to start with just a little thing?
Well, how many phone calls have I given to you this week just leading up to this?
A lot.
Just to piggyback on what Mike was saying before, I guess I'm speaking for Joe and myself. We've been doing this for a long time. Just to see over 3,000 people listening to this album, and it means so much. And thank you guys so much for enjoying it. And it was a pleasure to make, and every album's been a pleasure to make. And no, thank you so much. Also, any announcement? Any day now, I am going to be a father again.
For the second time.
So, for the second time. It actually might be this weekend.
That would be
Might
something.
be after the stream.
It's coming too, so coming soon. So baby number 2 is on his way.
Baby number 2 is my favorite album of yours.
It'll be dropping. It'll be dropping within days.
Bill, are you gonna make a musician out of the kid?
Hey, they go their own path.
Interesting.
But Henry, my first, he bangs on the piano a lot. So
There you go.
You're gonna play guitar, you're gonna like it just like I did or wanted to. Play this guitar. No, you're going to lessons. I don't care if you don't want to go. Go.
I worked at a music school. I saw that all the time. Don't do that.
No, absolutely not.
For the chat, don't just let him. Just leave him.
No, they got to find their own way, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I'll be doing.
Joe?
I guess basically everything Bill said, minus my wife having another kid. I
You're
already
going
have
for a third? Oh, Joe,
no.
congratulations.
I already have number 2 sleeping in the other room, so I'm good. But yeah, I think Bill kind of expressed the same sentiments. That's all I got.
I said a lot of words tonight, man. I don't have a lot of them left, except I love you, Chad. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the music, and all that. It means everything. Really echoing what they said, and just at this point, just going to be rehashing things I said before. It really does mean everything. Thank you so much, guys, and make sure you don't forget before we end the stream that I don't think Joe and Bill had seen that emote that Vinny really likes from my channel. Do you want to show them? I don't think they've seen it. Can you show them real quick?
Is that the sour PLS?
No, it's the one Luigi guy. Yeah, guys, check that out, man. That's an emote from my Twitch channel
That Vinny really likes.
It's Vinny's absolute favorite. Can you click on them on it and tell me what you think it is real quick, man? I'd like to see you try to figure out what that is real quick. It would be really amusing to me. I'm sorry.
Hold on.
What does that look like to you? What's that? I'm a chaos agent, Vin. I'm so sorry, dude.
It's all right.
I'm so sorry.
I'll give you guys a hint. It's
Is that Shrek and Sonic?
Yeah, you pretty much got it. It's well, close enough. It's Red Sonic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, close enough. I'll take it.
Jesus, that's good. Really good guess.
Yeah. Nice.
Well, I can't follow that up with too much, so I'll say listen to Congratulations by MGMT.
Oh, it's the best album.
Tip your
One of my
server.
favorites. Top 10s.
And someone mentioned it earlier, and I wanted to say yes. That is, in fact, an album that I got into while we were making this, that Joe got me into, because I got into Little Dark Age, got into that. So that one's a big influence.
That album was a huge influence for this one, right?
Yeah, like there was a little interview I did for Rate Your Music. Thank you, Rate Your Music, for allowing me to do that, and I pointed out some of the influences, and that was definitely one of them. So, listen to that. Stay safe. Tip the servers. Don't be rude to them, because their lives are hard enough. And thank you to everybody that works in healthcare right now. And
thank you, guys. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Big time.
And thank
wear
you.
a goddamn mask, please.
Yeah, just do that. Do the mask. Unless you're Gandalf on Facebook. There's no need to wear the mask, Frodo. Gandalf is a conspiracy theorist from Facebook, Mike. That's the lore happening right now.
Oh, is he into Bill Gates wants to chip everybody with the coronavirus vaccine? Is he into that end of it?
That's right. Bill Gates is Saruman.
Why is Gandalf that shit?
I don't know, but he is. All right, listen.
It kind of works. Yeah.
Joking aside, though, I do appreciate you all, chat, for being here, and I'm glad that you took a chance listening to the YouTuber's music that always has a chance to go sour. Oh no, the person who plays video games for a living is making an album? So yeah, thank you for giving it a shot and getting us to this point where, we can actually continue to explore different strange new worlds of sounds. And it's been great, honestly. Like, working with Joe has been a huge boost to my mood, so I want to thank Joe. I want to thank Bill and Mike for being just really excellent collaborators, excellent musicians, and giving me the ability to be a little bit of a dictator in the studio. I'm sorry, guys.
Hey, they're your songs.
It's fastidious.
We just play on them, man.
It's
most of the time, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when we come up with stuff together, it's always a good feeling, especially something as good as Be Someone Forever. And I'm excited for the next record, but I do appreciate you guys allowing me to explore this stuff and also to just kind of just be the best possible people to help us get this stuff on vinyl. So
Vin,
thank you.
Let me tell you something. If this stuff like this album is the end result of you being a dictator, then I want you to just like goose step all over my face.
Holy
anytime you
fuck.
want. Just go ahead and do it. Like you are the dictator
Oh my
because this album kicks ass.
I will say that was the most amazing version of a compliment I've ever received, I think. Like the way you
Well, thank
worded it. Holy shit.
I got complimented on my compliment. Meta.
That's pretty good. Of course, now people are relating that to FBT, face and ball torture. That doesn't even make any sense, chat.
Fucking dumb as shit. I love it.
All right. Okay, all right. Good night. Thank you, everybody, and I hope you continue to enjoy the record. If you hear any crackles, I don't give a shit. Good night.
Oh, fuck the crackles, for God's sake.
I know. All right.
Good night, guys.
Good night, guys.
All right, chat. I won't be streaming, but I'll see you tomorrow with video games. Good night.
I like the way you